Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Jen.
Thank you so much for joining me and the listeners to do this podcast. As you know, this is our 10th annual fall conference for the ECDA, and our theme is Be a Leader That You Would Follow. And I thought you could chat with us about what being a leader means to you and what you do in your practice. So, how does that sound?
Sounds good.
Awesome. For those who may not know you, if you want to start by telling us where you work, your position, and your career so far, sort of where you came from, where you are, a
Okay,
little nutshell.
sure. So I work at the Holland College Early Learning Center. I am on the floor, frontline early childhood educator. I work with I have a team teacher, a team partner. We do multi-age grouping for our children. So we have children that are ages 2, just getting ready to head to school. I've been certified since 2006. I took the accelerated program. And before that, I was doing some work as an uncertified ECE in a couple of centers. I've
Wow.
been doing it for a while.
Wow. And I didn't realize you did the accelerated. That's
Yes.
awesome. Like, because we're just about to do another round and people keep
Yeah.
saying, well, when we did it before. And so I didn't know you were one of them. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And did you like that? Just a little
Loved it.
sidebar. Okay.
I loved
Awesome.
it. It was busy.
Yeah.
But we were the last. There was 3 different cohorts. And we were the last of the 3.
Okay.
Being taught by Susan Ashley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to learn stuff today, but we started with the first question, so that's great. Outside of ECE life, what do you like to do in your spare time? I know you have children because I've been on Zoom before and I've seen them kind of poke their head in. So yeah, just looking to see what you do outside of your ECE life, if you will.
Both my children are into sports. So if it's the winter, we're in a rink. If it's the summer, we're on a ball field somewhere.
Okay.
So besides going to their games, I'm also a Sunday school teacher.
Okay.
I love to just be outside. We are outside people, and I know I'm going to get flack for this, but we love winter.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the
Hey,
snow. I'm sorry. I want the
am
snow to
also
come.
same. I
Yeah.
also love the winter. That's why
Yeah.
we're in PEI, right?
Yeah. We started skiing. The kids started skiing last year, so we're looking forward to spending some more time
Nice.
skiing, sledding, skating, anything
Awesome.
outside. We're outside more in the winter.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. What is your favorite thing about being a frontline educator?
My favorite thing about being a frontline educator is the relationships I get to build. And it's not just with the children, but it's with their families, building relationships with other educators, building relationships with faculty. Being in Holland College, we have access to the faculty, students that come down, students that I have on Practicum. It's just building those relationships.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. And you're right. You have kind of the double whammy of not only your families, but you have the students and maybe those not even doing their practicum, but they do come down often, I understand. So that's awesome. So as you just mentioned, because you're at Holland College Center, you get many Holland College students for practicum. Can you tell us about your experience with them, what you like and what you try to instill in the practicum students?
I love having the students come down. They do different, they have different lessons or assignments that they need to do. So they'll either come down for, a practicum, or they'll come down just to do some observations, plan some activities. We generally have a good experience with them. There is, quite a few that come down usually in the beginning. We see them again kind of middle of the year. And we get to go up to the classroom as well and share some of our knowledge with them. Doing some different, so I went up recently and did skill streaming with the students with the second year. So we do get to go up and share our knowledge and experience with them. The one thing I try to instill in the students is, to remain true to themselves and their philosophies. You may be in a center that maybe the philosophy is a little bit different. Don't change your philosophy to fit in somewhere else. You may just have to adapt it a little bit, but I always, try to instill in them, don't change what you believe in. Don't change what you're doing. You may just have to make some adaptations, but I really try to instill in them to be who they are.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
I remember just how I know you. I remember being in a session with you one time and you spoke about how sometimes it's not what you instill in the practicum students, but sometimes what they instill in you. I don't know if you even remember saying that, but can you talk a little bit about that? I just remember you saying sometimes they lifted you up, and so I just wondered if you remembered that.
Sometimes it's that new passion that they have, you know, whether it's first year or second year, and how they're learning and encouraging them, like I had said in the previous question, you know, to be themselves. It helps me to remember to be myself as well. You know, so it's not just me, you know, helping them to learn and have that experience. It's what they take from it and seeing them grow from it. That kind of instills a new bit of passion in me as well, to keep going as an educator, as a mentor to other students as well. I love that even having them with me, I'm still learning from them.
Right.
You know, their ideas, where that's coming from.
Yeah. I love that you're showing that you're open to, that you're not like, it's my way or the highway and I know this because I've already done it. You're sort of, you're open to that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And teaching them to be open as well. You know, it helps instill that in me to remember to be open.
Right.
Yeah.
In our sector, and especially during COVID-19, we sometimes see burnout in ourselves and our coworkers, people around us. Can you talk a little bit about how you yourself keep your fire lit and your bucket full?
Yeah, it's hard now, especially, you know, during COVID. You know, you're seeing burnout and you're seeing exhaustion everywhere. I try to keep myself going by enrolling in different workshops, trying to see what is new, what can I do. And it's not just about the self-care for me. You know, I took one recently just after the AGM, you know, just trying to instill some more about what are those challenging behaviors, and taking more so that I can put that back into practice. Because I know whenever I learn something new, it kind of ignites me a little bit and it gets me excited to go back to work and try something new, or look at that and say, oh, okay, you know, I'm looking at that through a different lens now. It makes more sense. And then changing what I need to change. I always try to make changes in my practice, in myself, how I do something. And that just kind of excites me, that, you know, that I can do that, make that change, trying to learn something new as well. I just find for me that if I just kind of stay, you know, on the level and I don't try to make any changes, or I don't try to learn something new, I find that you just kind of get blah. And you just,
absolutely.
what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this funk that I'm in? But yeah, taking more workshops is one way, you know, and talking to other educators. The row sessions that I'm in is definitely helping to keep me going. Just talking to other educators who are on a lifelong journey of learning as well, you know, keeps me going. And this week I really had my bucket full. Our parent advisory committee had the idea to put the stick-it notes, the post-it notes in the locker room, and the children would write messages to us through their parents, like what they liked about us. So seeing some of those things, you know, as well. But it's not just during ECE week. We have a little bucket here that our director, Rochelle, had set up, that we can write notes to other educators. You know, I loved when you did this. I liked how, you know, you've been a great support, those kind of things. And it just helps mix us all up.
That's awesome. That's such a great idea. When you were talking about the row group, the reimagining our work, I love that too. I know sometimes it's, you know, we meet sometimes at 6:30 p.m. and you're like, after a long day, it's, you know, you got a lot of stuff going on after work. And there's been some nights where I've been like, oh, maybe I'll just skip this one or whatever. And then I go and I'm just so filled up after, like, just talking to other educators and not just in PEI, but, you know, in Nova Scotia. And I think you're right. I think it's just taking that ownership on ourselves to continue to look at ourselves and see what we can be changing or altering and adding. So
it's like once you get in there, you just kind of get that. You're seeing everybody's faces. You're hearing them talk about, you know, what they're doing, and, you know, and their challenges and struggles, and how they're the same as we're having, you know, and trying to talk through how can we overcome this? What can we do as a group?
Right.
Yeah.
With our conference theme this year, can you tell us a little bit about a leader that you either look up to or looked up to, or someone that you've learned from, someone that you kind of, when you're looking at, you know, leaderships, if there's somebody that kind of shines in your life?
I've had quite a few of them, but the one who stands out for me every time is Susan Ashley. And that is because, you know, I get to see her a lot, but she was my instructor in the program. sorry, when I took the accelerated program many years ago. But she's the kind of leader that always pushes us to be the best, but knowing that our best is different every day. Like, she doesn't do things for me. So if I have questions, she doesn't answer them for me. She encourages me to answer them myself. She's that leader that isn't always just marching in front or behind us. She's the one that's always beside us.
Wow.
She's the one that answers our questions. She's the one, when I'm thinking, I need a change, I need to move up, and she was the one that says, why does everybody want to move up? Why don't you spread out?
Wow.
Right? Like, instead of having a small garden, that's pumpkin size, why isn't your garden, the size, a lot bigger? And just instead of wanting to always go up, why don't you spread out?
Right.
And getting those things, which has kind of instilled some new, goals for me, what I want to do and where I want to go. I know I always want to be frontline, and I know that this is what I love and this is where my passion is, but she's been that leader that is always beside me. And
that's
not
a
pushing me one way or another.
Wonderful way to put it. And she's just such a wonderful lady, and I hope she listens to this, because I think everyone likes to hear, that you recognize that in her, and that's so beautiful. I like that, beside us and not, marching forward. So that's awesome. As you know, with the Canada-wide agreement, we have a lot of really timely and wonderful things coming to our sector. What if there was one thing, what are you most excited to see? You said you've kind of been around for a bit, so you've probably fought this fight before some. What's something that you were like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen?
It's so hard to pick one. It really is. But I'm excited to see that there's more in this for families. That there is a lot, for families. As excited as I am about, the wages that are coming up, I'm excited that, there's grant opportunities for education and training, but it's also that there's something in this for families, to see that their fee is coming down so that families can be more, able to go to work, and that their children can come and not all of their wages and salary is being put forward to childcare.
Absolutely.
To seeing it, and that it's not going to affect what we can put out to the children and families, because the fees are dropping.
Exactly.
That if anything, it'll just get better.
Right. I read something the other day, and it was saying how it's great that families will be able to have, access. That's awesome. But it's also cool that it's that choice part. So if they choose Holland College, if they're not choosing Holland College because that's the only one that was available, sort of thing. Like if there's more spaces, more access, then families can start making that decision. I want childcare in my community, or I want childcare where I work, or I want childcare because I know Sandra works there. Just different things. Like I think families, exactly like you say, they're just getting more of a choice and less decision making. It's not, I've got now 2 kids in childcare, so I have to stay home because, or I have to not put the kids in hockey because of this. Like, I think you're right. There's families definitely, they got some stuff for Christmas too. As we were saying, we got everything we wished for, but families really got some stuff too.
I love seeing that there's something there for families.
If you were to look ahead into our sector, say 5 years down the road, or even 10 years, what would your vision be for early childhood educators?
That one I've had to think about a lot. And I think it's just because, my vision would be, to keep going on the same path we're going, to keep seeing this growth, to keep seeing support from our community, seeing support from the government, seeing support from our families, from other educators, directors, owners, government, that we just keep moving forward. Being in a spot where, we're able to get more training if we want it. One of my goals is to enroll in an online university course so that, I can get my degree. And I'd like to be able to see, more opportunities for that. Is that where we all go at some point? Just that we have more opportunity to keep our training up, to keep the level of the training that we're getting, to the high standards, and just for our field to keep evolving, like, to never stay still. We just need to keep learning. We need to keep being there for the families, seeing that there is more spaces for children who can have it, more infant spaces, more after school, more spread out through the communities, just that everywhere you go, you're going to find us.
I just got goosebumps from all of those things. So I hope that comes true.
Yes, I hope so too.
I think we'll just keep working towards that. You
Yeah.
and I, everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, Sandra, thank you so much for coming and doing this podcast with me. Even before this position, I heard about your passion. And in the last couple of months, I've been able to connect with you in various sessions to hear about you speak about your practice. I've said this to you before, how lucky not only the children in your groups are, but as well as the practicum students are to learn from a leader like you. So thank you for what you do each day. I know it doesn't go unnoticed, and you are helping other leaders around you thrive. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.